Yo, what is going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV back with another video. I know I'm kind of talking like a Jersey accent or some weird shit, but we are here with it. Welcome to Derry, where we are finally here with the season 1 finale, what we have all been waiting for, what the season has been culminating towards, and there's a lot of build up getting into this, but we're here. Going into the final episode of It, Welcome to Derry season 1, I didn't need this to be the perfect finale, mainly because we already know there are 2 more seasons coming. That being said, the show built these characters up so much within this era of the story that leaving things sour would have been quite a letdown. Again, I wasn't really expecting this to be absolutely perfect, but honestly, holy fucking shit. And thankfully, we didn't get left with a sour taste in our mouths going into the next 2 seasons. Now again, the seasons are planned out, but I don't think there's a confirmation as to how successful this season was and how much the audience was engaged with it and if they can like be renewed or not. I'm sure they're going to, because this is one of the biggest hit shows of the year, but man, this episode was really damn good. And if they don't have more seasons to it, if we don't go back in time to like make things loop together, that's a fucking crime. This isn't just good for a prequel, but genuinely effective television that holds real weight within the It franchise. Like, there are real implications connecting this to the other movies. Episodes like this are exactly why the show deserved to exist and exactly why the script got fucking improved. Prequels are hard, especially when you're dealing with something as iconic as Pennywise, but this finale actually adds to the mythology instead of cheapening it. And honestly, this might be one of the best season finales I've seen in a long time. I know that seems like an overreaction, but holy shit, that was so fucking good. So getting into the premise, this is a spoiler by the way. We're going to be talking about everything that happened. Well, not everything. We're not going to talk about it closely because that's kind of a waste of the video and I need to get my thoughts out. But I will be talking about the main story beats. The season 1 finale brings every major storyline to a collision point. You have the children, you have the military, you have Dick Halloran, Rose, Taniel, the Hanlons, and Pennywise himself. They all converge as the truth about Derry's balance is finally revealed and the lore kind of comes together, and there's kind of just this boss battle at the end of the season, not the show. Obviously there's 2 more seasons supposedly. The ancient pillars, long teased throughout the season as some lore, as like a motivation, as an origin story for Pennywise, are confirmed, yeah, to be anchors keeping Pennywise in check, keeping him away, keeping the evil out of the town. They're not weapons meant to destroy him, they're pillars to keep him away. When the military interferes and destroys one, which happened I think the episode before this one, it might have been 2 episodes ago, they unknowingly destabilize the town, unleashing Pennywise influence at full strength. And obviously that's been happening over the last couple of episodes, but that really comes to light here as Pennywise is looking to make his final crack at it. He is free into Derry and he attacks the high school. The result is actually apocalyptic. Children affected by the deadlights float through fog-covered icy lakes, fear spreads uncontrollably, and Pennywise emerges as a near unstoppable force, and you get the feeling the second the episode starts where the fog is like building up. It's insane. As the group works to restore balance rather than destroy evil outright, the episode reframes Pennywise as something eternal, capable of being resisted, delayed, and wounded, but never erased. And we kind of got this feeling, obviously, through watching the 1990 film, watching the modern films of this thing, that it is immortal. The finale also introduces a massive revelation, of course, that Pennywise exits across time, manipulating history itself, directly tying the events of this prequel to the 2017 and 2019 It films, and all the revelations and stuff we will get to in a second. That shit's amazing. So getting into the good, let's first start with Pennywise. It's Bill Skarsgård. This is easily the best version of Pennywise we have ever seen. This is the best of moments. This is prime Pennywise. This is insane. You have blood smeared on his chin, which has been a thing for the last couple of episodes. The glowing eyes cutting through the haze, the morphing movements, the laughs and the dialect. Everything about him here is iconic, and Bill Skarsgård really brings this character to the forefront and really makes him an absolute icon and continues to carry the legacy of Pennywise. I think Pennywise is actually back there as a Funko Pop. You might be able to even see the top of his head. I'll zoom in for you. There's like video game like effects. I'm not going to talk about the effects too much, but it actually works like in his favor and makes him look like surreal for some reason. It makes him feel like unreal, mythic, and terrifying in motion. The sequence where the girls huddle together with the dagger while Pennywise is like running circles around him, straight up spooky. That is easily the scariest moment of the series. The atmosphere and the scares, just speaking of the scares, this episode did actually kind of scare me to an extent. The fog covered town, the possessed kids floating under the deadlights, again the apocalyptic tone. It felt like It in a way we haven't really seen before. Not just horror, but like utter collapse of Derry. Like, this town, if these children don't put the dagger into the ground, we're fucked. Shaw's death was brutal and unsettling, which adds to it, and the overall mood was harrowing without relying on cheap jump scares. And also the lore gets paid off very well. Everything finally makes sense, whether it be the pillars, the shard, the Native American mythology, the military's role as accidental villains basically, the realization that the army wasn't fighting fighting Pennywise, but helping to unleash him as like, again, like a little bit of a racial like message and social commentary. And I am glad, by the way, that they didn't like make that the complete thing here, but it reframes the entire season in a really satisfying way. Whether they misunderstood the implications or genuinely thought they were stopping him, the damage is done and Derry pays the price, and it's great. Also getting to Dick Hallorann's arc just coming to the forefront, just culminating completely here. Dick fully becomes the emotional backbone of the show, fully becomes that hero. And he doesn't just feel like a hero, he feels like a damaged one. Saving people hurts him, carrying his burden costs him something. He really does feel, again, I will talk about Stranger Things a lot, and by the way, in a little over a week, the next batch of episodes is coming out, but he feels like an 11 type of figure to the show, but obviously without a clean origin story, which honestly makes him more compelling. And knowing the next 2 seasons are going further back in time, I'm insanely excited to learn more, because I have a big feeling that they're going to focus on Dick Hallorann and at least one of these seasons to really understand why he is the way he is. It's so crazy. And just getting into the time travel revelation, just such a smart move. I don't know if this was originally a part of the books. I'm not a huge like book fan, especially for the time that Stephen King was making his novels. Pennywise pointing out the missing photo, revealing Margie's future son, that was a wild moment. Pulling it out, and like the fact that it's Finn Wolfhard, that is an incredible Easter egg, obviously from the new films, but more importantly, it ties the franchise together in a way that feels intentional and not gimmicky. Margie being Richie's mother is cool as hell, and it makes sense because obviously the whole teen romance with her and Rich passing away, her naming her son out of memorial for someone she knew out of high school. Now, I don't know how her husband would feel about that, or future husband or whatever, but crazy. There's so many dope revelations and things really make sense, and I was very concerned that the show was going to fail to make things make sense, but holy fuck, this episode is great. This is going to be a pretty short video, but getting into the okay, this is what I like to call exposition density. There's a lot of explanation here, and almost too much to an extent, which I think is kind of a mixed element of this episode. Honestly, it is a more season-wide issue than a finale problem. I can't just sit here and single out this episode, oh, you explained too much. It was kind of the show creators' fault for waiting till the very end and damn near procrastinating, like explaining the lore to us. Given how much needed to be clarified, I can't fault this episode. I am happy that everything is revealed, but if we would have got little nibbles throughout the season, I think that would have been a better move for Muschietti and the group. Rich's role as well. His involvement leans a bit fairy tale-ish, I will say. You know, this show, this season, there are times, you know, with certain monsters and certain sequences and characters where they definitely lean into the sci-fi direction a little too much, and you guys know me, I am not a huge sci-fi fan, so when they get a little too far in there, I'm definitely concerned. And that feels like it here, but him flipping off Pennywise and the emotional weight of his funeral worked like right after him helping them. Obviously it's super corny for the characters to be like, oh, that was Rich, oh my god, like he was here. Dick calling it a fucking miracle, that was like, oh man, your heart, you know, it's very goosebumps inducing. Margie swearing felt a little odd tonally, but didn't ruin anything either. There's some dialogue, I will say, that is a little mixed. I guess I could have put that here, but it doesn't deserve a whole section. Let's move on. There is one bad thing, like this episode, I'll give this a very high rating at the end, which might be concerning to some of you, but there is one thing I'm very kind of pissed off about. It's the military turn, and it's a whole military. I kind of don't like how the military turned heel. Now, I know this whole season, they were supposed to be kind of racist motherfuckers that were going after this Native American tribe and like getting into their burial ground, messing with the sacred grounds. They have their ancestors buried there. They have all sorts of artifacts laying around. They didn't give a fuck. Like, I understand they're kind of shitty people from the start, but they full on turn into pieces of shit here. I was annoyed. Like, them turning on Hanlon and like shooting him for helping Daniel and the Native Americans, and them not seemingly knowing the fucking stakes of what was going on. Shooting one of their own felt abrupt and kind of frustrating, especially since Shaw had been a solid character all season, and I really like James Remar. Like, you guys watched all my Dexter reviews. If you have, you know James Remar is a fantastic character to me, and his heel turn felt a bit rushed, and he's supposed to be a very likable guy, so him taking on this role seemed kind of, and him getting killed by Pennywise, obviously that was kind of some closure. That was very satisfying for me, given how big of a piece of shit he turned into, but it does reinforce how corrupt and panicked the system becomes under fear, so I get it, even if I didn't love it. Like, I understand why they're doing it. It just seemed so damn sudden. It's like, why the hell all of a sudden is Shaw just the most unlikable motherfucker in the world, and he has all these colonels like taking down Dick and taking down Hanlon? That sounded so wrong. It makes sense, but I just don't fucking like it because I liked Shaw as a character. And getting into my final thoughts, this finale just proves Welcome to Derry isn't a cash grab. You can tell the creators care deeply about this franchise, and it's kind of hard for like big movie titles and properties to have that. I saw some interviews with Andy Muschietti, Bill Skarsgård, that kind of backed that up, and they're like talking about how we can innovate this character. It's great. I mean, this episode doesn't just close a chapter. It's not like, oh, well, this is done. It expands the entire mythology in a way that respects what came before. Yes, it's storybook. Yes, it's safe in places, but it kind of had to be, especially to like keep things in the balance for the grand scope of the franchise and for it to make sense. Anything messier would have broken the continuity of the 2017 and 2019 films. Instead, the show adds depth, context, and emotional resonance without rewriting history, and I very much appreciate it for that. I'm not just satisfied, I'm genuinely hyped for what comes next. Now, I never really like expected that out of the show, to walk out of the season like, holy fuck, give me more. I guess what came before is what I'm more hyped about. This is one of the strongest season finales in recent memory. I'm not even kidding, and it's easily the best episode of Welcome to Derry so far. Now, I think there's like 16 more episodes of the show coming out, hopefully, but as of now, I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. This was fucking phenomenal. I don't know how they can get much better than this. Pennywise, like he was in the movies, coming to full forefront, and he's in his prime. I didn't think they'd even take it further than they did in the previous episodes he was involved in, but holy shit, this was incredible. With that being said, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Your boy is on the absolute content grind. I actually just got my NFL recap video exported, so I'm going to work on a bunch of stuff with that, and then we're going to start editing this video, and then I'm probably going to go to bed here in about 45 minutes, but it has been an absolute blast covering the show throughout the season for you guys, and let it be known that when the next 2 seasons come out, I will for sure be here. I am excited and invested in the show.